Welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today is my great pleasure to welcome a good friend of mine, Russel Wong. Russel wears many hats. He's universally known as a celebrity photographer. He played himself in the amazing movie Crazy Rich Asians. And what many people don't know is that Russel is hugely passionate about sport. And that's where we first met about 14 years ago, working on Cycle Singapore, and I've had some amazing sporting experiences with Russel since then, and it's wonderful to see you, Russel. How are you?
All good here. Just just hanging out like everyone else. That's all you can do.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. I've given you a little bit of an intro, but why don't we take the opportunity for you to tell a little bit about your backstory of how you got into photography and the amazing journey you've had photographing celebrities all over the world.
Yeah, I was never interested in photography, and my dad, gave me a camera when I was 16 and sent me away to the University of Oregon in Eugene, the northwest side of America. And I attended the University of Oregon, and I was a finance major actually. So I discovered photography because I love track and field. And I started using the camera to record, to shoot all these amazing track stars that were training there. Primarily the people that started Nike were based out of there at the University of Oregon, Coach Bill Bauman. I met all of them, and used my photography. I used my photography to actually just to keep pictures of these people I admired, from the time I read about them. And they were all in my backyard in Eugene, Oregon. And I was about 17 then. So I started really early, and it was just a hobby, like how all photographers start. And then one thing led to another, and I started actually photographing all these athletes at the university.
Wow! And your kind of breakthrough photo was a photo of Sebastian Coe for the cover of Runner's World, wasn't it?
No, it was for cover of Track and Field News.
Track and Field News. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So Track and Field News is like the very serious. They call it the Bible of the sport. And I always, even in Singapore when I was a kid here, I had a subscription of it. Just to keep up with times and who's on the top 10 world list, because there was no internet, and that's how I got all my information through this magazine. And Seb came to town after he broke all the world records, the miracle in 41 days they call it, and it's just right before the Moscow Olympics he came. So this was 79 of fall. And his first trip to the US, and he was just giving a running clinic at the local park, the local state park by the university. And I cycled down with a friend and came down and started taking pictures of him while he was giving the running clinic. It started from there. And it was just one roll of Kodachrome,
Wow.
A roll of 36 of Kodachrome, and I brought that to Nike. And cycled there in the rain. I still remember, and got a name and managed to give it to the head of the marketing guy, Mr. Jeff Hollister, who was I think the third or fourth employee at Nike. Yeah, there were only 4 guys in there. And Jeff gave it to the magazine. And little did I know, when I was having summer vacation in Singapore, I got a call from the editor, and they say, "Look, we're going to use a picture of Sebastian Coe for the year-end issue. Can we use it?" I'm like, "Whoa, of course you can use it." I paid $150, and that was my first paid job and first published picture.
That's incredible. And then the journey from there has gone on, amazing. You kind of moved, I guess, more into the entertainment space, didn't you? But also sports stars. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this after shooting sports in college in Oregon, I decided to skip over and go into portraits and fashion, because that was what I enjoyed doing. I did research, and just there's this thing called fashion photography, and I got kind of hooked on it because I could create from scratch. It wasn't just documenting people running. I could be more creative, and I enrolled myself in school at the Art Center in Los Angeles, in Pasadena. Amazing private art college, and really honed my craft in. And it was the first time I went to school to learn how to shoot properly, because until then I was just self-taught, and I never read magazines or books. I just did it myself, had some friends help me, and slowly moved into that space of portraits and fashion and celebrity and entertainment work. because you're based in LA. So what else do you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, amazing! And behind you is a great picture of the Tour de France, one of your pictures. And I've been so lucky. I've had so many amazing sporting highlights, and one of my most amazing experiences is spending a week behind the scenes on the Tour de France with you. I think we were trying to work out exactly when that was, but about 5 years ago. Incredible experience, and we kind of met through Cycle Singapore. Someone said, "Oh, you know, why don't you connect with Russell?" I think it was Linda Fulford introduced us, and we had an exhibition of your Tour de France photos, and you know, this is one of your passions that I don't think all of your followers know about. People see you as the celebrity photographer, but you know, I've seen you at marathons, I've seen you doing our event, you do the elite events. You've got this huge passion for sport, haven't you? Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, since I was a kid, you know, since I was a kid, played football, cycle, rode bike since I was 13, 14, got my first road bike, you know, it's always, sports has always been a big part in my neighborhood, you know, because all the kids were running around or playing football or cycling. And I mean, it's still a passion of mine. You know, I'm a huge sports fan. And that's how I started, and it'll never stop. And of course, I moved into the whole entertainment arena, and then people know me because I'm shooting these famous celebrities and singers and actors. But I never really hardly talk about the sports side of it, you know, because they don't see it being published. But it's still, I mean, it's a huge part of my life, you know, and it's not, it will always be. So I'm crazy about sports. Anything that moves, anything that has a ball, anything of some speed, I'll be watching on it. I'll be watching it for like the 24 hours on the TV, you know.
So you're crazy about sport. Are you going crazy at the moment? I mean, you're in Singapore with your mum. And you're in this kind of situation where obviously you're not even shooting fashion or any of the other stuff you do. Singapore's just extended its lockdown. What's life for you at the moment, and what's keeping you busy, Russell?
It's I mean, you do the best you can. I mean, I managed to borrow a bike, so I got myself a bike, all the basic stuff, and I'm able to ride. So I've been riding around 3 hours, you know, every day if I can. You know, on my little mountain bike around the city, around the tracks, around places I haven't been, and you know, sometimes with my camera, sometimes without my camera, and I go cruise around and do that, and look for potential spots to shoot actually while I'm doing it, because you know, on the bike you see more obviously. And so you know, taking shots just to document this period where you don't see people on the streets, which is very, very rare in Singapore. Because we're a small city, and do that. And I mean, as you know, like, you know, you ride for 3 hours or so, you're so beat, and you just sleep the whole day. You just wake up and do it again. So that's kind of good to have so that's kind of good way to pass your time. You know, and I'm catching up on a lot of sporting events which I haven't seen, a lot of sporting documentaries on YouTube which I haven't seen. So people are sending me all these snippets or programs I haven't seen. So I'm catching up on that actually. You know, a lot of the cycling stuff, a lot of the races, a lot of the profiles, a lot of the behind the scenes documentaries, which I love. And of course, also the music side of it. I mean, I love the music part of it. So that's a big part of what I do too. And I love, so I'll be watching a lot of music documentaries. But I mean, in terms of going out, you know, you can go and pack your food. So I cycle out and I get my food, you know, wherever I want. And it gives me motivation to cycle some more, and just to get out, you know, even cycle 20 minutes just to get my lunch, you know, or my dinner, or even take my night rides. I love the night rides because it's a lot cooler here. And it's my kind of outlet, and I really still enjoy it, you know. So.
And another of your great loves, food. I mean, you're a real foodie as well, aren't you? You absolutely love your food. And,
so I mean, we have endless supply. Exactly. I mean, endless supply here, right? So every hawker center, you got like 4 dishes, 5 dishes you can pick out. So it's food is not a problem here. Food is not a problem here. And so, you know, you can eat, you know, still pretty well, right? You can even, you know, order it, but I rather go take out, and so it gets me out, and I ride my bike or go get it or something.
Fantastic. Sounds great. So I mean, I'm guessing from a challenge perspective, business has dried up like it has for many people. Is there anything that, you know, I've seen and you've got so many amazing photos. I mean, you pulled out a beautiful one of Michael Schumacher the other day, which hadn't been widely seen, or I don't think it even been published. And so you got these amazing photos. So you're going back to your archives and maybe selling some of those. You're obviously not shooting at the moment, apart from the stuff you're doing around the streets of Singapore. But I'm guessing paid work is pretty much dried up for you at the moment, has it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't go shooting a job, so that's kind of bad. But it kind of gets me focused on my hard drive, which I've always wanted to clean up, because I mean, people don't realize, it's just, I mean, they see the celebrity portraits and the commercial work, but not many people have seen my sports work, because it goes straight to the agency and then they distribute it, so yeah, it's kind of good motivation for me, and I'm finding out stuff and images that I haven't seen or missed out, I mean, because you shoot even one stage of the Tour de France. I mean, it's a lot of frames in there. And sometimes I'm in a hurry and I just edit for that particular use. And that particular use might be, oh, we want to see the winner. Okay, fine. But you forget about the other stuff.
Yeah.
Or like the scenic stuff or whatever that sometimes you miss out. So I go back in there. I'm going back in folder by folder, and it's very, very tedious, but it's very therapeutic too, because you discover a lot of images that you forgot you shot. Because with sports, I mean, you're on a motor drive, you're just cranking it away, whatever, 15 frames, 10 frames per second, and you eat up a lot of whatever memory. And but the good thing is I'm able to look at it with a fresh eye, stand right back, and just even recall the memories I had, like the trips we did, right? We did a trip a couple of times to Tour de France, and that was amazing memory. Great memory of Alpe d'Huez and stuff, living out the side of a mountain with no one there.
remember that night driving up through those tunnels with the dogs and the mist and everything.
Single lane, German Shepherd. I thought it was going to kill us as we're driving through the tunnel in the hill, and then finding out that the guy we wanted to rent the stuff for, he was sleeping, so we had to bang the door down to try to even get a room in the mountain, like 1,400 meters up. So that was kind of fun, and I always enjoyed the trips to France, and so it gets me looking at the images carefully, because I have so much time now editing the images and putting it aside. And I've got a lot, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting it up on Facebook, on social media, selling it at affordable prices to my friends, F1 fans or cycling fans or even basketball fans, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun for me to do that, to just even share the images that I have that people sometimes they haven't seen it.
Yeah. And where do you see, I mean, we're seeing lots of innovation starting to happen. People are having to pivot, and, you're kind of innovating to a degree. I mean, it's nothing new that's being done, but you're going back to your back files type of thing. But do you see any change to the way that, photography business might be post COVID-19, the impact on sport and the opportunities that are going to be there? Obviously, all of the seasons in the sports that you've been shooting are in turmoil, no F1, you're a massive Manchester United fan, all that stuff's not happening. So when we come out of this, do you see your photography industry being any different, or you think it'll just kind of revert to normal?
I mean, for us, the sad part for us is we got to be there personally.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can't cover an event when you're not there. I mean, you can't put a remote camera and just, take pictures of the webcam, right? I wish I could do that, but then again, the fun is being there. So that part of it, I don't think you can substitute, and if you can't have the photographer there to shoot it, then chances are the event's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to be spectators. I mean, I can see on the back end where I think maybe people would be more, more reliant on the computer, on just your website, where you don't need to go for meetings like that. What we're doing right now, this is the first time I'm doing it. Right. This is great, and you can pretty much do it from your home. And maybe they would cut down, your work week from 5 days to 4 days, or even 3 days. Come in alternate days and ease up on the traffic and all that, which everyone has been talking about, but now they know it. So. And we see good results. The environment is cleaner now. You see mountains you haven't seen in your life. You've seen rivers that are clear. And it's nice write out when there's not many people around. So I mean, you see the benefits of it. In terms of business side, I can't think of anything more different, except that you're just more on conference calls, which I don't need to go park my car, go see the guy face to face. And this has proven, right? What we're doing now has proven it, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And, I guess selling images and merchandise off your web, I think that's good, because it's still, you can get a small income. But in terms of as a photographer, it's tough. It's tough because we have to be there. We're not bankers, or we're not people that just work in the office. We work right out on the field.
Yeah.
Just like for you organizing events, I mean, you got to be out in the field. There's no other way to do it. Not that I know of. I mean, now they're doing all these virtual MotoGP, virtual F1. It's not the same.
No. Yeah, it's there's something so special about that live sport, and I think the world's craving to get back to it. Russell, you've been around so many incredible people in your life, from amazing best athletes in the world, best musicians, actors, and so on. Anything really inspiring? I love to always end these on an inspiring note. Is there an inspiring story, or maybe not even from the high-profile people, just from your life? I mean, you've had an amazing life yourself. Obviously, your dad played a huge role in your life. I mean, anything that to leave the viewers with on an inspirational note, please?
I think of course, you as much as you relook at what your situation or everyone's situation is right now, and I think if I don't think you have to worry, if you still love what you do, and you always make it happen. And I love what I do, and that's what I am. I'm a photographer, and you still try to make it happen in whichever way you want, and that passion and that love for what you do kind of pushes you through, and get into the same space as your friends that are in the same business, in the same creative field, and we kind of share and kind of help each other out, in terms of trying to push each other along and seeing who's doing what's helping you out. And I think as a creative person, you will not, just because of this, I mean, you can lock yourself physically in a room, right, or an apartment or a house, but you can't lock the mind up, And for us creative people, we there's no, in fact, the mind runs even freer because you have so much time to think, and like you got all this list that I'm writing down of what I want to do when I get out or whatever, and things I need to do. So it makes you kind of plan a bit more, I think. And I think, as a creative person, the creating will never stop. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
The creating will never stop if you're a creating person.
If you're creative and you love what you do. What a great note to end on. Russell, as always, we could talk for hours. It's been wonderful to see you. And hopefully it's not going to be too long before we can catch up in person again for a coffee in Singapore. But thank you so much for making the time.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris.
Cheers.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.